Usually I focus on the OpenAI models, maybe some other models. Never ever I've spent time looking at what Google has to offer. I've always known that Google is one of the companies that helped shape AI as we know it today. But a couple of days back, they released the Gemini 2.0. And I thought, you know what? It is worthwhile that I spend hopefully 10 to 15 minutes quickly going into this ecosystem that Google can offer, see how I can play with it, and then maybe do one comparison with OpenAI, show you that contrast, and then judgment will be up to you. So with this and without further ado, let's get started.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel, the mic.
So this is the page where they released the Gemini 2.0, and you can see this big blue banner, a beautiful one. And then you have two buttons, chat with Gemini and then build with Gemini. And this is the one that got me interested. Now, I have my own opinion about the model, which we'll get into. But when you think about Google and the API basket that they have, all of the things when it comes to machine learning, deep learning, they have a lot. And I think probably they're number one when it comes to these innovations. And all of these pieces can be accessed through their SDK or through their APIs. So there's really high potential. Obviously, you can do it with other AI models. But what I wanted to explore, is it easier to do that through Gemini AI? And I think I have an answer, and we'll see in a second. So if you scroll down, you'll see unlock a new era of agentic experience with our most capable AI model yet. So this is the 2.0, and then they tell you here what's new, the Gemini 2.0 model family. So this is the family. We will start with the experimental 2.0 Pro, our best model yet for coding, performance, and complex prompts. So this is the coding one and anything complex. And then you have 2.0 Flash. So our powerful workhorse model with low latency and enhanced performance, built to power agentic experience. So this is more for agentic experience. So I assume this is where more function calling is powerful or recommended to do using that model. And then they have the 2.0 Flash Thinking, our enhanced reasoning model capable of showing its thoughts to improve performance and explainability. Now, after DeepSeek R1, all of them now are talking about the model showing thoughts. Again, following what clearly the customers resonated with when it comes to how DeepSeek R1 shows you the chain of thought that it does in the background. And last is the 2.0 Flashlight, our most cost-efficient model yet. So this is what I would call the 4o mini. I don't know. So each of them, by the way, if you want to read more, you can simply click on the model. You're going to go to its technical paper-ish. So it's not like a proper technical paper. Read something about it. And even here, you can click and go to Google Studio and test it for yourself. Let's go back to just looking at the other aspects of these models that Gemini just dropped. So we look then at agents, one step closer to a universal AI assistant. So Gemini 2.0 unlocks new possibilities for AI agents, intelligent systems that can use memory, reasoning, and planning to complete tasks for you, all under your supervision. So here they talk about taking action, use tool, and then real-time streaming. So again, this is where this ecosystem of Google comes into place. So they have the real-time kind of API similar to what OpenAI has when it comes to voice. They have the capability of function calling. All of that is things that come into OpenAI as well. And I think only these both. I don't know if anyone else has this kind of basket of features in their AI models. I think it's only OpenAI and Google. And then tool use. Now, tool use or APIs, this is where I would argue that Google definitely beats OpenAI. They have huge API library that is unmatched, if you ask me. Now, maybe OpenAI doesn't care about that. You can actually use OpenAI models and leverage Google APIs, that's fine. But the question is, will it behave and perform better with Google? You'd expect it's yes. Let's see. Unlocking agentic experience with Gemini 2.0. The practical application of AI agents is a research area full of exciting possibilities. We're exploring this new frontier with a series of prototypes that can help people accomplish tasks and get things done. Now, it's the year of agents. All of these big players are saying that. we see agentic-like features. So deep research by OpenAI, when they put it forward, they said it's an agentic feature. Here, they're also dropping that this is coming with these kind of features as well. So agents using multimodal understanding. This is, again, one of the areas I think it's very unique for Google. Again, OpenAI has it, so you can do a lot with video in the real-time API for them. They have a really solid multimodal AI when it comes to building things with video, voice, and so forth. So this is something interesting for people who want to explore it. And again here, agents that can help you accomplish complex tasks. So here, basically, it's the computer use version of Anthropic here in Google. So Project Mariner, this is like a demo that they're showing us, a research prototype. And this is, again, where you use computer use kind of a feature to get things done on your computer. OpenAI, who are usually slow to drop things, they surprise everyone, I think, when they dropped the Composer for Pro users. I'm still waiting for that when I get access to it. But basically, it's again the computer use version of what Anthropic was the OG. Honestly, they are the first one who brought this to the industry. And then OpenAI followed, and now Google showcases that capability here in their new models. So you can read more and more around these models. Let me just show you a glimpse of the Google AI Studio. So you can see it here. So this is, again, it's like the playground in OpenAI. It's interesting to go to these places where you can see more than what you see in the normal interface. You can see here, for example, you can select the model that you work with. You can see all the new models. So you can see Gemini 2.0 Flash, you can select it here. And once you select it, and you hover over it, you see this kind of data sheet card around the model. So you can see the cost for it. You can see what it's best for, and then the context window and other things, and the rate and the latency, all of these things. So if we go, for example, to the 2.0 Pro, so this is the Pro one here, and we hover over it, you can see here it highlights all of its information. Latency is a little bit more. So if we go for the thinking model, and it's similar latency, so that's interesting. And let's go to the Pro one. So this is, I think, the strongest one I'm interested in. And you can see here the token count is 2 million per context. So the context window is 2 million tokens. You can select the temperature when you're interacting with the model here. You can ask for structured output. So if you want to get it like in JSON format, for example. Code execution, basically, do you want to use something like code interpreter? So to have a simple run of the code, a Python code usually, to see a certain outcome in a chart or something, or validating a calculation for you. Function calling, so you can do some function calling here. In the model itself, you can click edit, and you can add a function here. You can go to a visual editor as well, add function declaration. So I've never played with it when it comes to Gemini. I will do that for sure. Usually I do it in code, it's much easier, but it is interesting that you can do it in the Google AI Studio, honestly. So there's so many things you can look at. Even safety settings are here, and then you have top P. So everything basically that you need to tweak or play with to really experiment or experience a model in different ways is here in one place. Here you can get the stream real time. So this is the advanced voice model, their version of it. You have certain starter apps, again, video analyzer, map explorer. Here you can fine tune a model similar to what you can do on OpenAI. But here, the amazing thing is you can just access your drive. It's already linked to my account here. So I can click here, access my drive, select the fine tuning data, and that's it. And I start running the fine tuning. So it's really interesting when you explore it. Also, you can click at this and enable chat history. So there's a prompt gallery as well. You can here go through a huge prompt gallery. Very interesting. And then you have the documentation, developer forum, and other things. So amazing, I think, setup for the Google AI Studio. So let's now go and compare two flagship models of Gemini and OpenAI, and then we'll see the fun projects I've done with this. So we'll start with Gemini, and if you never experienced Gemini, and I wouldn't be surprised if many people did not, I think everyone goes to ChatGPT, not everyone uses Gemini. But this is the user interface of Gemini. I think it looks really nice. And if you click here at the top, similar to what you have in ChatGPT, you get all their models. So you have the older 1.5 models here, and then you have the 2.0 experimental models. So I'm going to work with the thinking experimental model. Again, I want something that is reasoning. and I want to compare it to o1. So that's why I'll put it here. The prompt that I will use, and this is again the same prompt that will give o1 in OpenAI ChatGPT. Design a sustainable urban transportation system for a city of 5 million people, considering environmental impact, cost effectiveness, and accessibility. I'm not interested with the problem and how the model solves it. I'm more interested to see that kind of chain of thought or thinking process of the model to see what we get. Now o1 doesn't show it, so o3 shows it. So, but I want to test it with o1 because, to my understanding, if I'm not confused, yes, o3 is a supermodel when it comes to coding, math, and science. But when it comes to pure reasoning, o1 still beats o3 mini. This is what I understand. And so we'll hit go and we'll see what kind of thinking it will get. So you can see automatic. It's super fast, by the way. Like, this is the first impression, super fast. So let's go to o1. Again, you can see the same prompt is already here, and I'll hit go at this and we'll give it a second to reason through it. I don't know if they will modify o1 to show the thoughts. So yeah, you see it didn't really show the chain of thought, just a quick highlight of that, and then I get the output. We'll go to that later. So let's see what we got from Gemini. So the user wants a sustainable urban transportation system for a city of 5 million people. I need to consider environmental impact, cost effectiveness, and the accessibility. Okay, so I need to identify key components of sustainable urban transportation. I need to research best practices and examples, consider specific context of a city of 5 million, and then address 3 key criteria: environmental impact, cost effectiveness, and accessibility. Structure the response. Okay, so it's interesting. It's not deep thinking, I would say. Like, from experiencing even o3 mini and experiencing DeepSeek R1, you would expect much more thought process into that, deeper thinking. And when it comes to Gemini, it was always like reasoning-ish type of a model. I don't know if this is like a full-fledged reasoning. Again, when you deal with these type of models, it's not an open source one, so we cannot really unpack it and see what they've done behind it. But from the answer, it's still a reasoning-ish type of model. So, and then it just goes ahead and gives the plan, which is, looking at it, it looks very comprehensive. It looks at electricity, roads, safety, like everything, environment, urban planning, future planning, cost effectiveness. So it's a very detailed response. Good. If we look at o1 in comparison, so it doesn't show. So the reasoning is there when it comes to o1, but it's not shown here. And then absolutely, before diving to the design, I want to make sure I have a comprehensive understanding of the context. Here, if you look at quickly what o1 gave us: city profile and geography, existing infrastructure. So it's assuming it could be something existing and we're trying to improve it. Environmental and sustainability goals, budget and funding, so that's interesting. Population, demographics, and accessibility. Policy and governance. I mean, you can see a little bit smarter areas. So to be fair, I didn't read in detail. You can play with the same prompt on your side and see what you get. I'm just interested, high level, I don't want to bore you, but I'm just interested how it looks at them, or how the model looks at this type of question. Very similar, honestly. I need to do more and more prompting to pin them against each other when it comes to reasoning. Let's do this DeepSeek R1, see the difference there. Okay, so here we are at DeepSeek. I selected DeepThink R1. Let's hit go and see what we get. Hopefully it works out. It's failing a lot. Oh, it worked. So good. We're lucky. Let's see how much thinking it does compared to Google. o1 does it show us. We can test it with o3 mini. o3 would do really good against DeepSeek R1, I would say. I tested it against this one, and it does deep thinking, and it shows you all of that thought behind it, and usually it's comprehensive thinking like DeepSeek R1. But without going into the details and boring you reading all of this, you can see the level of thinking DeepSeek R1 is giving to the prompt I gave it, compared to what we got with o1, which, okay, to be fair enough, doesn't show it, but definitely what we got with Gemini. Okay, if you look at it, it's deep thinking. It's lots of thinking process. People are talking about the aha moment when it comes to DeepSeek. So it critiques its own thoughts as it does even the deep thinking. That's a super interesting thing. So, and then it starts giving you the answer. So this is the answer. We can wait for it. I just wanted to show you this level of thinking compared to what we got in Google. So if you see in Gemini, the thinking we got is really simple, And then we got a comprehensive answer, but the thought is like just short thinking, at least what it showed us in text, but they claim they are exposing it to us. So hang on till the end. I will tell you what I think about Gemini models, but I just want to show you fun projects I've done. Hopefully I can demo them in the right way. So, I wanted to use the 2.0 Pro model, which is the best in coding, to try on a Replit to make two applications that have access to their Vision API AI. Just selected something that could be interesting. So I'm not using the multi-modal API here or the real-time. I'm just selecting one of those libraries that are really interesting, that are used in many functions and industries even out there. So I wanted to build something where I can use Vision, basically use the camera and do something a little bit fun. Let's start with the first one, which is the game I told you about. This is a strawberry game that I pop strawberries with my nose. I know it's silly. Let's see how that works out and if I can really run it here. So it's running now and give it access to my camera. But you can see here the strawberries are coming down, and if I put my nose close to a strawberry, I basically pop it. So it's a game that I built. Again, I can make it a better game. So you can see now the strawberries and looking at the camera going down. So if I look at it from my side, I can just, pop some of these strawberries with my nose. Not reactive really well, but this is one interesting application I've built. So the other one is an application where basically I look at my face and the AI, the Google AI will try to detect my face, my eyes, and then place a pair of glasses on my face. Again, not so fast. I asked the AI to do this for me in 15 minutes, but you can see with time, it will start placing the glasses in the right place on my face. I'll just do a screen record and I'll just add that to my edited video. Hope you just get an idea. So now let's go back to where it matters. It was telling to me when I went to Gemini Pro 2.0 and asked it to build both these applications for me. It gave me the structure because it understands, and this is the minimum to assume there, the Google SDK, the Google coding, APIs, how to create things in Google. So you'd expect that much. It did that for me, but when I started running the applications, either they're not working or I'm hitting errors. And honestly, after 4 or 5 attempts, I had to move to O3 Mini, which nearly from the first or second attempt got the application based on the Google API, Google SDK to work. So that's telling, if you ask me, and I'm sure I didn't do it, but I'm sure if I went to Sonnet 3.5, I would have gotten the same results. For some reason, having access to all of that amazing foundation that Google has, even if their model is considered a top model, and I think it is still, but you'd expect much more out of Google when it comes to AI, even compared to OpenAI. You'd expect them to be better. So their model is not as good as OpenAI, not as good as Anthropic. I think it's a huge corporate, so they have so many things to focus on. They're not focused on AI. I think that's a problem. But at the same time, I think they have untapped potential. They have potential that they're not tapping into. And once they tap into that, they get to a level where I would say they can eat up the market. But that's not happening. Historically, Google is one of the companies that shaped AI as we see it today. Actually, one of the most significant ones, at least I read, is their paper when it came to BERT and the bidirectional models that they put forward at that time. So they are one of the most major contributors to the design of AI as we know it today in our world. Having access to databases through YouTube, the Google search engine, so many things. How come they can't just give us really the best model? The question is, and this is where my expertise stops. Maybe you know better. Is it something related to their, I would say, unreasonably big context window? Are they sacrificing so many things just to do that selling point, which for some people might make lots of sense? So someone just wants to throw in a huge input in that context, and starts chatting with it rather than doing RAG and other things. I don't know who actually can do that, because all of that other stuff is now easy and anyone can do it when it comes to creating a RAG system, and the basic one just to exchange with an agent or a chatbot. There is something holding them back, in my opinion. Can't put my finger on it. I subscribe to Gemini. I'm gonna stay subscribed because that makes a lot of sense. I use their documents, their docs, I use their sheets, I use Google Drive. I'm a YouTuber. Everything I have on YouTube, at some point they have to bring all of that together, and I should expect to get intelligence out of having access to Gemini that not OpenAI can give me, that no other platform can give me. It makes lots of sense for me just to get that membership, because I already am buying storage from them on my Google Drive to store my files for my YouTube. They need to do better. This is my honest opinion. They need to definitely do better. I would rather that Gemini team, the Google team, just stay silent for a year. I know that doesn't work that way. It's a really competitive market, and just come and kill it. Like, come back and break the market, break the competition, bring something that no one else has. I don't know. They have the money to get the best people. They're missing something there. They're missing something. So I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe I didn't tell you anything really useful, but I just wanted to give you a feel and a taste of the Gemini models. Maybe it's something you didn't think of experiencing. It's worthwhile doing that. Maybe you now think about playing with code and these AI models and try to build something with the Google SDK or the Google library of APIs, which is a really interesting one, I promise you. So hope you enjoyed it. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my video if you did so. And with this, thank you for watching and goodbye.
Subscribe to Daddy's channel. Give me the mic.